Ted Bundy, the notorious figure, was a serial killer involved in murder, rape, and necrophilia. He confessed to killing 36 individuals, primarily women, during the 1970s, although experts suggest his actual victim count could exceed 100. So who is Ted Bundy? Theodore Robert Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. He began his life as a source of embarrassment for his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, who was 22 years old at the time of his birth. Having illegitimate status, Ted's birth deeply humiliated his religiously devout grandparents. Eleanor, known as Louise, gave birth to Ted at a home for unwed mothers. She later took her son to her parents' home in Philadelphia. Ted's birth certificate lists his father as unknown, leaving his biological father's identity uncertain and possibly never to be confirmed. There have been rumors suggesting that his father might have been his own grandfather. To conceal the fact that he was born out of wedlock, Bundy was raised as the adopted son of his grandparents and was led to believe that his mother was actually his sister. Cowell later moved in with Bundy to Tacoma, Washington, and in 1951, she married Johnny Bundy. Although Ted adopted Johnny's surname, he had little respect for his stepfather, whom he viewed as too uneducated and working class. Johnny and Louise went on to have several children together. Bundy appeared to grow up in a seemingly content working-class family. However, he displayed an early fascination with the macabre, including a keen interest in knives from as young as age 3. Despite being shy yet intelligent, Bundy struggled socially with his peers. Ted Bundy was believed to exhibit troubling behaviors such as dissecting mice in the woods and attempting to harm others while swimming or boating, showing a lack of remorse or empathy. During his teenage years, a darker aspect of Bundy's personality emerged. He developed a habit of peering into people's windows and casually stealing items that caught his interest. After graduating from the University of Washington with a degree in psychology in 1972, Bundy pursued law school in Utah but did not complete his degree. During his time at the University of Washington, Bundy fell in love with Diane Edwards, a woman who embodied everything he desired: wealth, status, and influence. Their breakup deeply affected Bundy, and many of his later victims bore resemblance to his college girlfriend, typically attractive students with long, dark hair. By the mid-1970s, Bundy underwent a transformation, becoming more outwardly confident and involved in social and political circles. He even secured a letter of recommendation from the Republican governor of Washington after contributing to his campaign efforts. Some criminal experts believe that Ted may have taken more than 100 lives. However, the actual number will never be certified. Ted Bundy's killings typically followed a disturbing pattern. He frequently raped his victims before brutally beating them to death. There is ongoing debate about when Bundy began his killing spree. Most people believed 1974 was the start, coinciding with a surge in disappearances of women in the Seattle area and nearby Oregon. However, criminologist Matt DeLisi argued that Bundy likely started killing during adolescence for 2 reasons. 1. There were more murders than we all knew, and back in the days, the authorities were not fully equipped to track Bundy. 2. The pace and confidence which he performed during the 1974 to 1978 period indicated that there's no way he's new to murdering. Bundy often enticed his victims into his car by playing injured and seeking their help, exploiting their kindness with fatal consequences. Meet Elizabeth Klopfer, one of Bundy's most notable girlfriends. She later played a crucial role in helping the police apprehend the suspected serial killer. Their love began in 1969 after meeting in a Seattle bar. Klopfer was a single mother struggling with alcoholism, and Bundy took care of her, with Klopfer describing him as warm and loving. By 1974, Klopfer started to suspect Bundy's involvement in criminal activities, noticing odd behaviors like him keeping a meat cleaver in his desk. When she confronted him about these suspicions, Bundy used his charm to dismiss her concerns. Klopfer secretly reported her suspicions to the police, but they initially did not believe her accusation. In 1975, Klopfer approached the police again, this time providing evidence that led to Bundy's arrest. Bundy had confessed to Klopfer over the phone from his prison cell, admitting that he had attempted to kill her and struggled to control his impulses when he felt his sickness building in him, as she later wrote. In the fall of 1974, Bundy relocated to Utah to attend law school, and during this time, women began mysteriously disappearing in the area. The following year, he was pulled over by the police, and a search of his vehicle uncovered a collection of burglary tools including a crowbar, a face mask, rope, and handcuffs. This discovery led to his arrest for possession of these tools, prompting law enforcement to suspect him of more serious crimes. In 1975, Bundy was arrested for the kidnapping of Carol Durange, one of the few women who managed to escape from him. He was convicted and sentenced to 1 to 15 years in prison for this crime. Bundy managed to escape from prison twice in 1977. The first escape occurred while he was awaiting trial for murder charges related to the death of a young woman in Colorado. Bundy acted as his own attorney during this trial and took advantage of a trip to the courthouse library to jump out of a window, successfully evading capture for 8 days before being apprehended again. In December of the same year, Bundy executed another daring escape by creating a hole in the ceiling of his cell and slimming down over 30 pounds to fit through it. Authorities did not realize Bundy was missing for 15 hours, giving him a significant head start in evading capture once more. Following Bundy's second prison escape, he eventually found his way to Tallahassee, Florida. On the night of January 14, 1978, Bundy broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University and viciously attacked 4 young female residents. Tragically, he killed 2 of them, Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy. Shortly after, on February 9th, Bundy abducted and murdered 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. These horrifying crimes marked the end of his murderous spree, as he was apprehended by police later that same month. The evidence linking Bundy to the Chi Omega murders at FSU was the presence of bite marks on Lisa Levy's body, which conclusively matched Bundy's dental impressions. Bundy's striking appearance, charisma, and intelligence garnered him significant attention and celebrity status during his trial. Despite vigorously fighting for his life, Bundy was convicted in July 1979 for the murders of Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy and received 2 death sentences. He spent 9 years on death row, exhaustively appealing his sentence. In 1980, Bundy received an additional death sentence for the murder of Kimberly Leach. Ultimately, it was this sentence that led to his execution by electric chair in 1989. Throughout his legal battles, Bundy attempted appeals, even taking his case to the U.S. Supreme Court, but his appeals were consistently denied. He also tried to provide information about unsolved murders in hopes of avoiding the death penalty, but his efforts could not indefinitely postpone his punishment. Bundy was executed as scheduled in 1989. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed at approximately 7 a.m. at Florida State Prison using an electric chair. Outside the prison, crowds gathered and celebrated, with some cheering and setting off fireworks. James Dobson interviewed Bundy the night before his execution. Dobson reported that Bundy wept multiple times and expressed remorse for his actions. Bundy's last words were directed to his lawyer, Jim Coleman, and Fred Lawrence, a minister. He said, "I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends." After his execution, Bundy's body was cremated in Gainesville, Florida, and no public ceremony was held. Before his death, Bundy requested that his ashes be scattered in the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, where he had committed at least 4 of his murders. Bundy's life was marked by a facade of charm and intelligence, concealing a dark and violent persona that led to the brutal murders of numerous young women. Several films, novels, and TV shows were inspired by Ted Bundy. His execution in 1989 brought closure to many families and communities affected by his crimes, yet Bundy's legacy continues to fascinate and horrify, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of manipulation and deception.